Hey guys, welcome to a new video. I just want to go ahead and apologize for my voice. I'm dealing with an allergy attack here, but hey, I wanted to make this video today. I was scrolling through YouTube and I found this video that says AI agents emergency debate. These jobs won't exist in 24 months. We must prepare for what's coming. And I wanted to show the thumbnail here because this is what really caught my attention. You could tell it's a debate, obviously, but the headline here, these jobs won't exist in 24 months. This is exactly what we've been talking about. I'm not the only one talking about this kind of thing. And this is going to be, like I said, a debate. And I want you guys to let me know what you think in the comments. But you guys know my thoughts. I've talked about this before. I definitely see AI as a problem. I wish that AI personally, in my opinion, completely never existed. I think it's going to hurt more than it's going to help, unfortunately, especially in the long term. I think in the near short term, people are going to have a lot of issues when it comes down to jobs, when it comes down to freedom, when it comes down to a lot of different issues that are basically they're going to face. You guys have your opinions on it. I've always had a strong mindset where I believe that no matter what the issue is, we can conquer it, we can work through it. But the truth is, with certain kinds of issues, guys, these are things that money cannot fix, unfortunately. And this is just, once again, my opinion. I do believe that there will be newer jobs, newer opportunities for people to generate income off of, to build a life off of. I do believe that there is a positive future for some people. But the overwhelming majority, unfortunately, will suffer. And this is my opinion. Now, I'm not sure why this is scrolling through, but let's go ahead and hit play here. But I'm going to share this. We're not going to go through the whole debate. I'll leave the link in the description for you guys who want to watch the whole debate. I didn't watch the whole debate. I literally just got caught up in the thumbnail. I got caught up in the intro, the title. And this is, like I said, quite scary. And I want to just say a quick message before we just play some clips here. In a few days, I think the new game, GTA, is coming out. And if you're the type of person who allows yourself to be distracted by things like this is the worst time in history to be distracted. We are closing in, guys. In the near future, it could be 10 years, it could be 8 years, it could be 5 years. Who knows what the numbers are? But we are closing in on the opportunity for money to be earned democratically. And when I say democratically, what do I mean? Everybody can go out there, buy a laptop, start a business, pretty much right now, and really have some success. But in 5-10 years from now, that's not going to happen. You know, when the AI truly kicks in, competition will be unreal, and you're not going to be competing against humans. You're going to be competing against people that invoke machines, invoke robots. And to give you a perfect example of this, if you're new to the channel, you don't know what I'm talking about. If you go to my channel, we talk about stock photography. We have AI agents that do the work for us. Create photos, tag photos, title photos. They do all the effort. My machine, compared to a human being, it is not even comparable in terms of the results. And the people who use that know that, right? So I don't want to ramble too on. Let's hear the intro first, and then I kind of want to go through the different parts, and I want to get your opinion on this. But clearly, I'm not the only one thinking this. I can't be the only one thinking this, that AI long-term is a problem, because the amount of people that are going to suffer when we get to a point where there's universal basic income, if there ever is, if we get to the point where there's going to be a lot of suffering in between. And unfortunately, a lot of people are not going to have the funds to hold them over. And when I say a lot, I really probably mean like 99%. Most people don't have the funds to wait and sit back 10, 15 years with no income, no nothing like that. They're not going to be able to handle it. And that's, it's sad, but let's continue.
A lot of people don't realize how massive the positive impact AI is going to have on their life.
Well, I would argue that the idea that this AI disruption doesn't lead us to human catastrophe is optimistic. For example, people are going to be unemployed in huge numbers.
You agree with that, don't you?
Yes, if your job is as routine as it comes, it's gone in the next couple of years. But it's going to create new opportunities for wealth creation.
Let me put it to you this.
Okay, so here I wanted to just pause this here, 20 seconds into this intro. I completely agree that yes, new opportunities will emerge. There's no question about that. And there's going to be a small subset of people that are going to be able to capitalize off of it, right? However, we have let's just count the United States. Let's not even think outside the United States for just a minute. I don't know how many people there are in the United States. 300 million, 330 million, 338 million. I don't know the exact number. But let's just say for a second it's 300 million. If 1% of the people are able to capitalize on this formation, let's say, of this new world, which honestly I think 1% is going to be too high. But let's just say 3 million people are able to capitalize out of 300 million. Well, we have 227 other million. Okay, let's just assume 35%, or let's say, are under the age of 18. Okay. Now we have, let's say, 36% of the people that are taken care of. We have the older people who are in the social system. Okay, that's, let's say, another 35% or 33%. So let's say another third. But what do you do with the other third of people? The people who are the working class. Those people are not going to have jobs. They're not going to have opportunities. They're not going to be part of the 1% that are going to be able to make money off of this thing. Okay? And on top of that, they're not going to be able to afford the technology to build something new. They just won't be able to. And a good point of this is, for those who watch my stock photography videos, you guys know that really the thing that makes a difference between the guy who's successful and the guy who's not in the stock photography game is the pay-to-play concept. If you can't afford the AI tools that can do the job for you, then you're out of luck. You're not going to be able to really push forward the same way that somebody else can. Let's just say in a period of a couple months, you can have tens of thousands of uploads on your account because of how strong the AI agents currently are, the AI tools are. But if you're the type of person who's doing everything manually, it'll be a couple months and you haven't even done 5% of what your competitors are doing for those of who are using AI. So this is my point, is I feel like in the long term is problematic, which is why I've been encouraging a lot of you guys lately to feel free to investigate different sources of income and different, ways that you can succeed. And once again, guys, I apologize for the way that I'm breathing and talking into the mic. I'm dealing with some really bad allergies, but let's keep listening.
This way, we have created a new species, and nobody on Earth can predict what's going to happen.
We are joined by three leading voices to debate the most disruptive shift in human history, the rise.
A lot of people, when they talk about the future being unpredictable, especially in the AI conversation, they're really talking about, 20 years down the road, 25 years down the road, when AI effectively has its own thought processes that are manifesting itself outwardly. And what I mean by that is, you look at ChatGPT right now. ChatGPT, in a way, is programmed to operate within a confinement, which is that playground, right? That chat bar or that chat box that you're sitting there and chatting with ChatGPT in. But what happens when ChatGPT or something similar now has a mindset to think outwardly, to start create for its own? I'm not too concerned with that because that's way deep into the future. Let's just say it's 20 years from now, which I would be interested to see what you guys have to say about that. Do you believe it's 20 years from now where truly AI has a mind of its own? I don't know. It could be earlier rather than later. But my point here is that seems too far down the road right now for me to think about. What's more important for me to think about right now is people's economical situation. Everybody, for the most part, has a job. Everybody's taking care of themselves and their families through jobs, through sources of income. And like I said, I don't believe in a period of 5 to 10 years from now that there will be the same level of opportunity. I think that AI is going to eat up a lot of the different markets, like I said, and it changes different markets, of course, and I'll just give you a quick example. Let's use the graphic designer example. I've had multiple people now message me in the past saying that their jobs were graphic designers, and now it's almost impossible for them to find work, so it's a reality. It's definitely a reality.
Rise of AI.
And they're answering the questions you're most scared about.
This technology is going to get so much more powerful. And yes, we're going to go through a period of disruption, but at the other end, we're going to create a fair world. It's enabling people to run their business.
This is another concept. Did you hear what he just said? He just said we are going to have a period of disruption, but then after that, it's going to result in a fair world. And this is where I disagree. I don't think AI is going to result in a fair world. Why? Because it's only the people who can afford the AI that are going to be able to utilize it. If you can't afford it, you're not going to be able to utilize it. i.e., I'll give you an example. I heard the Tesla robot is coming out eventually. And when it does come out, it's going to cost about $30,000. Now, by the time inflation hits, by the time everything goes, right, and a few years hit, and then finally it's being released, it could be 5 years from now when it's released, who knows, it might cost $45,000, $55,000, $65,000, or let's even be financially conservative, and let's say $35,000 after tax, after all that kind of stuff. $35,000 for a robot that will help you, wash your dishes, carry your luggage for you, pick up your kids from school. Basically, a human assistant that could do pretty much anything physical for you, right? Now, only a certain level of people will be able to afford that. The regular Joe Blow on the corner who works as a teacher and his wife takes care of the kids, he's not going to be able to afford that. And so it doesn't make a difference from the same aspect of technology. A lot of the money that's being made right now is through the online world, through e-commerce, right? And let's just say you have a bot that could potentially, or an AI agent that could potentially build a business, an online business for you. Let's just use that as an example. I know that's a wide range, but let's use that as an example. People are not going to be able to afford to pay for it, regular people who wouldn't have a business otherwise. They're not going to be able to pay for it. And people say, oh, because AI exists and because it's so available, it's going to be cheap. When was the last time you saw a company go out of their way to charge less for something? I've never seen it. I've never seen it happen in my life. Companies are for profit. Even nonprofits are for profit, as funny as that sounds. But they're not going to just decrease prices because they're trying to be nice and charitable. Since when did that happen? If that was the case, you would have a company like Amazon or Walmart pay 1% of their proceeds to people who are starving all over the world and end world hunger. It doesn't cost that much to feed families overseas, But that's not the reality. The reality is companies are for profit. So if they have a chance to charge you an extra $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 for something, they will. And so this idea that AI is going to be so readily available to everyone, the answer is no. It's not going to be readily available. It's going to be available to the people who can pay for it. And most people who can pay for it are not part of the working class anyway. These people may have inherited money, have built businesses over the past period of times, and now they're using the AI. And what it does is it creates a larger separation, a larger gap between people who are normal, economical people, right? Working class people, and it creates a separation amongst the rich. So you're gonna, like I said, this is why I said in one of my last videos, a couple videos ago, when I was talking about AI, is there will be less and less of a middle class that exists, because you're going to have one class that sits there and is enjoying their AI robots, their AI butlers, their Rolls Royces, all this kind of cool stuff. And then you're going to have the other group who can't even find food to eat because it's going to get so bad in certain situations where they were already struggling with the job that they had. Now when they lose their job, what on earth are they going to do? There's not going to be much to it, right? And so the world is going to change completely. And I believe, right, I could just picture it, it's going to be total chaos, because there are some people who are not going to be able to just sit back and watch their kids starve. They're going to go out rob people. They're going to go out kill people. They're going to do whatever they can to feed their families, Now, it might be a justified purpose, but the action will not be pure. Let's keep it real. The action will not be pure. And this goes beyond, guys, this goes beyond, for satiety. This is survival. People are going to try to live. They're going to try to survive out here. It's going to be complete, total chaos amongst the working class. They're going to turn on each other. They're going to murder each other. They're going to kill each other. I could definitely foresee that happening. Now, a lot of people, right, there's this idea of prepping, right? Prepping for survival, be a prepper. Well, you might have to take that a little bit more seriously, because imagine this. Imagine if you become self-sufficient, right? If you learn how to live off grid, You learn how to hunt, you learn how to fish, you learn how to grow your own food, which is really not that impractical. A lot of people think it's not practical. In the internet world today, you get yourself a, what is that thing called? The Tesla, Elon Musk Starlink, right? You get yourself an internet connection. You can go out live in the grid pretty easily. I mean, it's not going to be easy, but it's not going to be terribly difficult, right? You could live in the middle of the country. You get yourself some farmland, get yourself an internet connection, get yourself a well, learn how to make some fires, build a masonry stove in your house. You're warm, you're fed, you're taken care of. But in times like that, if there is true chaos, people are not going to just, like I said, sit back. They're going to go take from who has. And if you're one of these type of people that are self-sufficient, guess what? Now you're a target, right? Now you're a target because you have your survival needs met. So it doesn't matter if I don't see a positive from this. This is things that are going downhill. Now, I'm at the point now, guys, where I say, okay, I can't beat AI. I can't compete with AI, so I might as well join it. There's nothing else I can do. I'm one man. I can't just fight this thing alone. So what I'm thinking, right, is when I use things like an AI tool to tag and title my images for me, I'm just trying to get the most out of what I can right now. The world is going to change. I'm trying to get the most of what I can right here, right now. And I'm just trying to get as much resources as possible. And even in the future, money won't mean anything because cash is just not going to be a logistical way of transacting. The real money is going to be survival items, food, water, shelter. That's going to be the real money. It's not going to be cash. You know, you might, I've seen a movie before where it's like some guy was asking for a cheeseburger or something. He's like, that's going to cost you $3. And he said, what? $3? He said $3,000 because it's not about the money. It's about the survival aspect of it. So it is what it is. You know, we can sit here and listen to the rest of this video. But, you know, I'll leave the link in the description to this entire podcast. You know, you can already tell whose views are what based on the intro, but I'll leave the link in the description. I want to give credit to the content creator. The creator is called The Diary of a CAO. This guy who owns this channel, he does a series of interviews. He's a phenomenal guy. I'll leave the link in the description, but I want to know your guys' opinion on this. I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks for watching. Peace out. Bye.